Thank you, Bucket Brigade, for a heart-pounding introduction to the evening's excitement. If we're not awake, we weren't awake, we are awake now. The Bucket Brigade is made up of students from 5 Decatur elementary schools, and it is clear that everyone here tonight is proud of your talent, discipline, skill, and dedication, and your bravery that came clear in your music and how you represent your schools and all of the Decatur Public School District. So let's hear it again for the Bucket Brigade. I hope to see some of you in the years ahead in the famed and wonderful Milliken Percussion Ensemble, so keep that in mind. Thank you all for joining us here tonight to celebrate again the legacy of learning and support the Decatur Public Schools. My name is Pat White, and I had the honor of serving as the president of Milliken University. And it is my special pleasure tonight to welcome you to the University Commons. The University Commons has been designed as Milliken's crossroads and gathering place, the place where our community meets and talks, learns and grows. This building is also our front door, and tonight we open wide our front door to the larger community, so that here we may discover and grow together. For the education we need as a community must be a partnership for all of us. I've been in school since I was 6, which you might guess was a long time ago. And I am more and more convinced that learning we want for the children and young adults of our community must be embraced by all of us. Teachers, administrators, women and men of business, parents, and government leaders. No one can be bystanders in the effort to educate our young people. We all must take on the task of increasing the excellence of our education as a community goal. Milliken University is working hard to partner with Decatur Public Schools to be an active collaborator in this good and vital work. We do this because it's part of our mission, but we also do this out of enlightened self-interest. Just as Decatur cannot be strong without a vibrant Milliken, Milliken cannot accomplish all we want to do without a strong Decatur. And I think everyone in this room would agree that there can be no strong Decatur without a strong and high-achieving Decatur Public Schools. All of you here tonight are committed to that goal, so I know I'm preaching to the choir. But sometimes even the choir needs to hear the positive music of encouragement and possibility. Milliken's connection is perhaps most obvious, of course, through our partnership with Dennis School. The project-based learning practiced at Dennis and other schools is congruent with the performance learning at the heart of a Milliken education. Our connection to DPS goes beyond that, however, as we are working under the leadership of Provost Jeff Aper, Dr. Dan Miller, and Dr. Christy Magoulias to expand STEM programs to engage in the teaching and learning of math and science throughout the system. And just recently, we welcomed a fine group of young scientists from Johns Hill Magnet School to campus. These were members of the Lego League that work with robotics competition and other things, making out of toy Legos machines with which they compete with other people. But they came to campus for a talk on the Mars mission from Dr. Suzanne Bell. We are also working to grow our education programs so that we can help to eliminate the chronic shortage of excellent teachers here and across the state. In addition, and many of you know about this, but in recent weeks, we have announced an enormous commitment to the future success of Decatur and Macon County, to Macon County students in their lives after high school. We have created a new scholarship at Milliken, a new scholarship initiative entitled Macon Matters. Under this program, any student from Macon County will receive a $22,000 merit scholarship. Over the last few years, we have seen an increase in Milliken students from our local community, and we want to keep that momentum going so that more Macon County students will make Milliken their college home. We come together tonight in celebration of past achievements and to honor distinguished alumni and educators. We also come together in hope and confidence to acknowledge and take on the challenges before us as a community. The DPS Foundation provides important support for innovation and excitement in a district where over 70% of the students come from economically disadvantaged homes. In this world, the school becomes a place where the imagination and possibilities can grow, but that can only happen with your support and help. That's the only way we will improve that situation, is through education. Finally, on behalf of all who organized this event, I want to thank Core Construction Company for their generous sponsorship of tonight's event and dinner. And I would like to recognize Core's Director of Business Development, Natalie Betcher-Orn, and please join me in thanking Core through her for their support. Natalie, you can come on. Ms. Orn has traveled from Arizona, but it is a bit of a homecoming for her as well, for she is the granddaughter of someone who needs no introduction in this room, Peggy Madden, who previously served on the Decatur Public Schools Foundation Board of Trustees. And Peggy Madden, I'm proud to say, is also a trustee of Millikan University and a trustee emerita as well, because she was a trustee before, and then I asked her to do it again. And I really did. So maybe if you could say a few words.
I was not aware I was going to be called at this point. I'm going to give a speech in a little bit, but I just want to say thank you. It's been an honor to be a part of the event last night and tonight, and to see so many faces that I remember that were involved in Decatur Public Schools 15 years ago when I was there. And so I just want to thank you all for your commitment to Decatur and to Decatur Public Schools and Millikan, and for spending your time here with us tonight.
And another connection. Core Construction is the construction firm in which we are very well pleased on the $29 million project for the Millikan University Center for Theater and Dance. You may recognize it as this hole where RTUC used to be. But we're pouring cement, things are moving, and in the summer of 2020, we will have an extraordinary Center for Theater and Dance. We will finally have a building with facilities that are equal to the worldwide reputation of our theater and dance programs at Millikan. We are most pleased with Core's work and excited to note this web of connection that weaves together so many who, like all of us, are bound together to further education in Decatur and support the Decatur Public Schools. So, as I welcome you to the dinner and celebration tonight, and to the cause and the work that we all have to do together, it is now my honor to welcome the chair of the DPS Foundation Board of Trustees, Reagan Deering.
Thank you, President White, for hosting our Legacy of Learning here tonight in the beautiful University Commons. The Foundation is proud of the long-standing partnership between Millikan University and Decatur Public Schools. We appreciate your support, and we are also pleased to thank Trustee Emerita Marilyn Davis. Not only does she serve as your Chief of Staff, but rumor has it Marilyn created this event 16 years ago. Would she and your fellow Millikan associates please stand? Millikan faculty and associates? Don't be shy.
If you want to Millikan, stand up.
Don't be shy. And speaking of charismatic leaders, our Mayor Julie Moore-Wolf was here for the reception but had to run out to make a proclamation. We decided to grant her a hall pass, and she'll be back in time to take it. It has been my pleasure to serve as a trustee for the Decatur Public Schools Foundation over the last 3 years, and to move into the chair position this past summer. At this time, I'd like to recognize my fellow trustees, if you would please stand and wave. Thank you. As Dr. White mentioned, our goal is to seek and provide funding that enhances the learning experiences for students and adds to the resources available for our Decatur Public Schools teachers. In fulfilling this purpose, we appreciate the guidance of Superintendent Paul Frigo and Board of Education President Dan Oakes. Would the Board of Education members and district leaders, as well as our faculty within the buildings, please stand and be recognized. Exciting time for District 61. We are proud to support activities aligned with the new strategic plan and look forward to watching the vision take shape in our buildings. A perfect example of our funding creative opportunities is Ms. Walzik's Bucket Brigade. Sarah, you and your Bucket Brigade, would you give a wave? We've had you seated over there in the corner to join us. We are going to learn a little bit more about their program with this short video.
We are the Walzik Bucket Brigade, and that's 3 schools involved, Enterprise, French, and South Shores. 5 years ago, I got out of high school. I was at Eisenhower for 18 years, and 5 years ago, I got stationed here at Enterprise, and I started talking to the wonderful principal, Ann Matheson, and asked if we could maybe start this up. After that, I started enrolling other schools, so French Academy then got a grant from Decatur Public Schools Foundation through Zach Shields and Company, and they bought us brand new buckets for French Academy. 2 years ago, South Shores, I talked to Eldon Kahn, awesome principal from South Shores, into purchasing buckets from the Family Booster Club. We did that, so we've been going 2 years now over there.
I learned that it's not very easy for people to start and just get on beat. It's easy, but I'm a professional kid. So I love to drum and I love music.
It's really good because you can express a lot of your energy and things like that, and it's really fun and you get to learn new things.
It makes me a part of it because I never did drumming before, and ever since 5th grade, the opportunity came to me instead of me coming to hit it, so I just took the chance.
What I've seen for growth as far as the overall student goes, we're learning how to read really hard stuff, and they are reading it, and they're sticking it rights and lefts at the right time. So they're learning how to read in time, so not only are we reading, but we're reading to a beat, which means your eyes have to keep moving. That not only gets them to read music better, it totally helps reading books, because the eyes are moving, and that's the whole goal in reading, is getting the eyes moving. So other than that, the behavior, that obviously gets better because they want to remain part of this group, and they know that I'm pretty tight about those rules. I want kids in here that know how to behave.
My grades are better from last year. Like, I stay focused. I don't look around. I don't look around and see what's going on. I don't talk to people unless it's free time or recess.
My foot, it don't tap all the way, so she made me like tap my foot. Teacher, tap your foot. And then I was like, Ms. Walzik, okay. She just is a great teacher to have at French Academy.
She teaches us a lot of things. She cares and loves for us, and she's very kind and nice.
Well, when I teach kids, when you see the light bulb go on, it's the best feeling in the world, because you know you've opened a door for that student for opportunities, and might be an opportunity now, might be opportunity 20 years from now, but you know that you're opening doors for them and options in their life for what they want to do with their whole life, a job, a career, a family, everything. I believe that it all starts here at the grade school, and getting an excellent foundation with education and music and everything, the whole child. I think it just allows for great growth for the student for the rest of their life.
Yes!
we are so proud of the energy you put into making every day a meaningful one for your students. District 61 is blessed with many teachers like Sarah who invest so much of themselves. 2018 marks the 21st year for our Decatur Public Schools Foundation. During the past 4 years alone, Foundation donors have provided more than $3.5 million to promote enriched learning experiences like this one to students from the pre-kindergarten through the 12th grade. I want to take a moment to recognize our director, Zach Shields. He plans this whole evening and even writes many of these notes, so I had to sneak this in. Zach's commitment to the students of DPS 61 is behind his every move. His heart for whole child experiences motivates his connections with donors, and he is to be credited for the tremendous growth of the foundation during his tenure. He's become a bit of a celebrity among statewide school foundations, and we are so lucky to have him. Please join me in thanking Zach for all of his hard work. My background in education and prior collaboration with District 61 as a business owner led to my desire to join the foundation board 4 years ago. I saw firsthand the amazing students in our buildings and an opportunity to connect them with our community outside those walls. Funding provided through the foundation has brought together businesses large and small, as well as individuals in Decatur like yourselves that want the best opportunities for our students. Donors understand that opening doors for young people represents an investment in our future. These dollars are providing new experiences, aha moments, challenging tasks, student-centered activities, purposeful work, and future goals. This year, we have been fortunate to launch an ambitious new program to directly connect kids to careers. Thanks to a $1.65 million gift from the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, the Dwayne O. Andreas Ag Academy opened this August. We have several representatives from the Academy here with us tonight. We're very pleased to have Ashley Austin and Andrew Klein as the Ag educators leading this program. Would you please stand and show everyone your fabulous blue jackets? Establishing the Andreas Ag Academy is a meaningful event for my family. We're proud to remember my grandfather's impact on the agricultural industry, and we'll take a moment to learn a bit more about the Academy.
It has gone fast. If you think back to July, and then by August we have all those kids going to the Farm Progress Show, and then before the end of the calendar year, we're announcing we have this funding for the Ag Academy, and now we have teachers identified already in March. And like you said, it hasn't even been a year. It's been a whirlwind, but an exciting and fun whirlwind.
Just being involved in this whole rebranding effort with Decatur as far as a community and trying to revitalize a lot of the local jobs and start connecting students that are in Decatur and showing them opportunities that they can have right here in their hometown and connecting them to careers in agriculture, careers that we need them in and careers that they need to be successful in their life and try to set some goals and just grow personally and develop themselves by pursuing an agricultural career. So that's probably what I'm most excited about, is connecting students to those careers, placing students that I'll maybe have next year at Decatur, 4 or 5 years from now, they're going to be in a career in Decatur coming back to my program as an alumni member. That's what I'm looking forward to.
So, and one of the things I'm very passionate about is educating people who don't maybe understand the agricultural industry. And recently there was a study done by the USDA and Purdue that found in the next 5 years there will actually be hundreds of thousands of jobs that are open in the ag industry, but also jobs that we literally can't fill because there are not enough people trained in agriculture, whether that's with maybe just a technical training, an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, all of it. So I think this offers a potential for students to explore those career paths in agriculture and promise them there is a job available to them right away.
I think that the biggest growth that we've seen in our kids is the soft skills. And I think when we talk to a lot of employers in Omaha, it's those soft skills. Kids are more confident, it gives them more opportunity to be themselves and take risks and so forth. So we're seeing that growth. We have kids who are super shy, who are coming out as seniors, who can speak probably better than me. You know, they're just articulate and they have that confidence and they believe in themselves. That's the most. I think this program that we have, this ag, it's that belief that there's life after high school and they're going to be able to find a job that they want.
in retrospect, people will think everybody has this opportunity. This is really unique. You know, you have a chance to actually lean in and figure out how you can make a difference in the world through your education, through contributing to the ag industry and the food industry in a vibrant way. And I think they should be thrilled to have the opportunity. I always tell students, explore the opportunities and the possibilities, see if it feels good to you, and then pursue that career pathway because you want to love what you do.
We hire students that attend university. We hire far more that don't have that kind of experience, that may need a vocational opportunity. And so the jobs that we struggle to fill oftentimes are not people who are in universities, although we're short on those as well. But the vast majority of those are jobs that kids can have experience without having to go to a university. They might want to go to a community college to gain maybe a little more experience, or what we think this agriculture education program will be vocational, so that they get that training when they're 15, 16, 18 years old, and then they can come out of high school ready to do those kinds of things.
So Decatur Public School by nature is our largest producer of a workforce, right? And so the opportunity then to train the workforce while they're still in high school gives our local employers an opportunity to bring in really skilled, talented individuals, either right into the workforce or kind of recruit them back after, you know, they've been away to college. But what this also does is it gives us on the economic development front something else to sell about our community. So when employers are looking and deciding between which communities to settle in to bring their business to, we can say this is another fantastic thing we have. We have this incredible Ag Academy and FFA program that's going to be able to provide you with the skilled workers you need.
Whatever they want to do, this program will prepare them for it, whether it is an ag business or it's not, if it's an ag marketing or it's not. This will prepare you to be a leader and a mover and shaker in the community, either locally, regionally, or in the world. Whatever you want to do, this will prepare you for it.
By this unique initiative, which will include a 15-acre living science farm, Enterprise Elementary, as well as extracurricular leadership activities through the National FFA program. We look forward to also partnering with Dr. Valdez and Richland Community College as students progress from high school to the Andreas Agribusiness Center. We are so thankful to have ADM's significant financial support for STEM-focused 4-H activities at the younger grade levels. This creates a healthy pipeline directly into the Ag Academy. The trustees appreciate the effort of Brian Byers, who has put in securing this funding and pushing agricultural education as a priority for the school district. I still can't believe you managed to get 600 12-year-olds to the Farm Progress Show as this year's kickoff. Of the Newhoff Media team has done a tremendous job in designing the SWAG, or Starts with Ag, branding campaign to spark community interest. So thank you for all your efforts as well. Tonight's event would not be possible without other generous sponsorship support. Please join me in thanking each of the companies and individuals listed in your program. And at this time, please welcome Core Construction's Natalie Orn to the stage. Again.
I am honored to be on stage in front of all of you today as a Dennis Panther, a Stephen Decatur Red, and a MacArthur General. To say Decatur Public Schools have impacted me and my family might be the understatement of a lifetime. I'm a 4th generation Decatur Public School alum, a granddaughter of a past Board of Education member, but probably my biggest accomplishment in life is being Peggy Madden's granddaughter, one of the founding members of Decatur Public Schools Foundation. Growing up with Bill and Peggy Madden as my grandparents, I learned very quickly the importance of giving back and making a difference in your local community. Tonight I want to tell you about how I learned that lesson. Almost 15 years ago, I was lucky enough to meet the famous Zach Shields when he was at Big Brothers Big Sisters. I was in the exploratory teaching program at MacArthur High School my senior year, just one of many of the great opportunities that I had at MacArthur. I got placed in Mrs. Phillips' classroom at Dennis Elementary School. Throughout this program, I met a young man who was struggling. He was struggling in the classroom, he was struggling at home, and he was struggling with his peers. Over the next few months, I learned his story. 2 years before that, he called 911 when he found his mother unresponsive from a drug overdose. His mother's rights were revoked, and he and his sister were now living with his father full-time. His dad was doing the absolute best he could, but he worked 50-plus hours a week out of town. Unfortunately, this man was failing in the classroom. I quickly learned that it had nothing to do with how smart he was. It had all to do with him needing support from those around him. I worked with him every day during my exploratory teaching hours and would often go to work with him at the local YMCA after school. After that semester ended, I shared my experiences with both my MacArthur counselors and Mrs. Phillips. They encouraged me to join Big Brothers Big Sisters to be able to stay involved in this young man's life. With Zach's help, I became his big sister, and over the course of the next 3 years, this young man went from a report card with D's and F's to an A's and B student. My senior year in high school, I learned something that has impacted me for the rest of my life: the importance of giving back and making a difference in your local community. That principle guides me in making all decisions in my life and was the #1 factor that led me to CORE. I am thankful to work for CORE Construction, the 4th largest school builder in the United States, but more importantly, a company that is dedicated to giving back and making a difference in this community that I care so much about. I want to thank each and every one of you that I stand in front of today for believing in Decatur Public Schools, for demonstrating a love of lifelong learning, and a commitment to making a difference in this community. Each November, the Foundation recognizes an outstanding educator. This person is nominated by colleagues and represents the attributes associated with those who put the interests of students above all else. The criteria for this award include demonstrated leadership, innovation and educational opportunities for students, mentorships of peers, a history of collaboration with the community. In the past, the Foundation has honored classroom teachers, building principals, and instructional coaches. This year, it is so satisfying to help honor a person who I know personally who has had a tremendous impact on young people. Allow me to introduce the teacher who nominated this year's Outstanding Educator and who also happens to be my former coach. Join me in welcoming Holly Peckert from Johns Hill Magnet School.
Yeah.
Hi, as Natalie said, I'm a product of Decatur Public Schools and have been teaching in the district for 14 years and coaching in the district for about 18. When I think of Outstanding Educator, I immediately think of Kim Schaefer, and tonight we are here to honor her along with our outstanding alum. I'm very happy to be here to celebrate this honor with Kim. Kim has played many roles in my life, but my most favorite role is friend. The first role Kim has played in my life is teacher. I first met Kim as a freshman at Eisenhower. From the first time I saw her smiling face, I immediately knew she would be one of my favorite teachers. She always made me feel like I was her favorite student. She always wrote notes on my papers, whether they were a great thought or I love it. I knew she truly cared about each and every one of her students. As a teacher myself, I now see how awesome and important this is at building relationships, because she's good at doing this, especially lifelong relationships. The second role she's played in my life was coach. She encouraged me to step out of my comfort zone and push myself to become a better athlete. The most important thing she ever did for me was she just simply believed that I could become a great basketball player. She was always so positive, even when we lost or when we didn't have a good game. And I remember one practice, she called me Windex All-American. I thought, man, I must really be special if I have a nickname. And during softball season, my number was 3, and she called me Trey. And once again, I earned a nickname, and she made me feel like I was so special and important. Her words of encouragement meant the world to me and made me want to be a better player and even a better person. I knew I would run through or run into many walls after a loose ball. just to impress her and keep my nicknames. Another role Kim has played is mentor. Kim was the athletic director at Johns Hill, and during this time, she called me one day asking if I wanted to coach soccer. I felt so honored to get a call from Kim to coach at Johns Hill. One of the reasons I have been coaching at Johns Hill since 2006 is because of Kim Schaefer. She saw potential in me as a coach that I may have never saw. My second year of teaching, I was ripped and really thought maybe teaching wasn't for me and started looking for other jobs. Not long after I gave up hope, I got a phone call from Kim, encouraging me, well, more like telling me, to apply for a teaching position at Johns Hill. And after getting the phone call, I knew I never once had a second thought about doing something other than teaching because Kim knew I belonged with her on the Hill. As a mentor, she also helped me through some difficult times. As a coach, you always hate to make cuts, and I would find myself in her office so upset about cutting kids from the soccer team, but somehow she would always calm me down, my voice of reason, and help me look at the positive to make the right decisions. She helped me through all these years of coaching by believing in me and standing behind me and trusting me to be one of her coaches. My favorite role Kim has played in my life is friend. This by far is my favorite role. She is one of those people who can just light up a room. Kim is such a wonderful, amazing friend with such a big, beautiful heart who I love so much. I'm so happy and truly blessed that Kim has played those big parts in my life. And to say that she was my teacher, my coach, my mentor, and now my friend is truly a blessing. So, without further ado, I present you the one, the only, Kim Schaefer.
Who would like Kim to talk first? I thought we were going to watch the show all about.
Didn't know there was a show about me. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would first like to say it's been a pleasure to share the weekend with Dr. Albers and Dr. Ensley. It's been an absolute honor. I thank you to the Decatur Public Schools Foundation and all of our beyond amazing sponsors who put on an event of tonight and last night. What an amazing job that you guys all did, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts for what you've poured out for these last 2 nights. I'd also like to thank my mom and dad for being here tonight, for being my first and most important role models in my life, for loving me unconditionally and helping me to become the person that I am today. Thanks also goes out to my Kemper family for your constant love and support. My faith family at First Lutheran Church for being that light on the path for me to follow. And of course, my Johns Hill family for being here with me tonight and having the pleasure and the absolute privilege to work side by side with you on a daily basis. Well, I start my story tonight back where this all started. It was 1982. I was a freshman at Millikan University, and I entered as a physical therapy major. And I am a teacher now. Dr. Baird called me into his office, and he was my advisor at the time, and he said, Kim, here's your path and what we're going to do for you to become a physical therapist. Well, He mentioned the word cadaver. And I graciously said, thank you. I'm going to walk over and talk to Dr. Hoffman and the School of Education, and I am going to be a physical education and health teacher. Thank you so much. The idea of being in a classroom with kids lifted my spirit beyond measure. But I thought I wanted to be an occupation where I could help someone. I thought, boy, if I could be a physical therapist and help someone recover from injuries or an accident. But I'm so glad that I chose the occupation of education. Well, I can remember being here on this campus and feeling all alone because, you see, I left a rural community of about 150 people where everyone knew everyone. And with that blessing of everyone knowing everyone, of course, they knew your business as well. Of course, it didn't help matters. I have a mother who is a hairdresser. And there would be rare occasions where my mom would come up from the shop, which was in the basement of our home, put both hands on her hips, and then pronounce Kimberly D. Well, I don't know if you guys, but when you hear all of your God-given names, whatever's about to happen next is not going to be positive. She would simply say, is there something I should know? Well, my halo sprouted from the top of my head, and my angelic self with the reassuring voice of, gosh, Mom, I have no idea what that could be. But it was that sense of community that I was attempting to find. And it was that sense of community that I was raised with in a small area in West Central Illinois. I was longing for that feeling of connectedness. And it didn't take long on this campus of Milliken for me to find my way. I made friends, I joined a softball team, and I eventually settled into my new environment. But here's the thing. I had absolutely no idea at the age of 18 how my decision to attend Milliken University would greatly impact the rest of my life. But it most certainly did. I started my career in the district in 1987, and that was in the capacity of a substitute teacher. Because you see, back in the 80s, one of the only ways to get into our district was to substitute teach. So I wanted to get my foot in the door. I met some people, I made some connections, and eventually I landed into the teaching assistant arena, and I was a teaching assistant for 2 years, and that was in the special education department at Eisenhower. And there I met Steve Hanks, who was my principal. Steve came to me one day while I was in the basement level working with kids, and he says, Kim, I'd like to talk to you for a moment. Well, being a newbie in the district, when the principal says, I'd like to talk to you for a moment, you're thinking, oh God, this is my mother saying, what did you do? But he came to me and he said, I have a position next year and I'd really like you to consider the application process and become a PE teacher here in this district. And I thought, wow, just for a moment, it was like time stood still because I was about to become a teacher. I was only able to spend 1 year there at Eisenhower before cutbacks happened. And you're going to hear me talk a little bit about transitions throughout this talk. But I was called to Charlie Kent's office, who was the Director of Human Resources at that time. I can remember Charlie sitting at his desk, leaning forward, and I thought, ooh, this is not going to be good. And he says, Kim, are you up for a challenge? And without hesitation, I looked at him square in the eyes and said, absolutely. Well, my next teaching assignment was given to me, and that was at the Adolph Meyer Mental Health Facility, which is now the women's prison. Well, this was a facility where kids came to us, and it was residential. They stayed. And these kids were broken. There's no other way to put it. And it was because of a lack of adult leadership and love in their lives. And for as many reasons as I had kids there, for as many kids as I had there, well, there was as many reasons as to why they came to us. But I realized the biggest thing that I could do for these kids was to make them feel safe. Help them understand, I'm going to be there. No matter how angry you get with me, no matter what happens, no matter what you do, I'm still going to be here today, tomorrow, and the day after that. Not only was it my job to make them feel safe, but I learned 3 keys that's helped me throughout my educational career. And that is to be fair, firm, and most importantly, consistent. Well, I was able to take these lessons from Meyer, and I put them to great use because I got the call to come back to Eisenhower. And I thought to myself then, Schaefer, you finally arrived. Because you're back in the program that you first fell in love with. And I'm able to teach and coach under the same roof. Because you see, I was still coaching while I was teaching at Meyer. I had so many people who helped shape me into the educator that I am today. And some of you are in this room tonight. And Shirley, don't worry, I'm not going to tell what you did to me in my health class while I taught growth and reproduction and then human anatomy. But if you'd like to learn that story, I would gladly share that with you later one-on-one. But there was one individual, as Holly says, I am to her. I had one individual in my life who helped shape me into the person I am today as an educator, and that was Ida Brooks. And Ida Brooks can't be with us tonight, but she's here in many of our hearts, many of our hearts. I like to refer to her as my educational mother, because she took me under her wing and she guided me. And she gave me many lessons. And for those of you who know Ida, when the glasses came down and girl came next, one of three things was about to happen. She was about to make the most emphatic point, tell you a story like you have never been told. Or number three, and if this was happening, you better put your shoes on and start running, because the wrath of Brooks was about to be unleashed. But she taught me the importance of building relationships, not just with my kids, but with the parents. She said it takes all of us, and she made that circle, it takes all of us to be able to do this job. And the last lesson she taught me, she said, these kids need to know they're loved. Each and every day, every minute of the day that they're in your room, when they drive you crazy, love them. When they do some achievement and they're able to taste that success, relish in that moment with them, celebrate it with them. Well, in the spring of 2001, there's many of you in this room who went through the gut-wrenching cuts in 2001, $8 million cut from a district budget. And at that time, I lost my home at Eisenhower, and I was going to be reassigned. And I was absolutely devastated, because I thought, I found my home, I've made my connections, I'm where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to do, and now I have another transition. Well, over the course of my career, I've learned that when a door closes, there's a little sliver of a window that opens, and it's called opportunity. And it's up to each and every one of us to take that single situation and turn it into something positive and embrace the possibilities that are in front of you. Because you see, when I received that message that you're moving from Eisenhower and you're going to take this next step and it's going to be a transition that you've never done before, I cried myself to sleep several nights. Several nights, because I thought my home is taken from me. Well, this transition that I made was to Johns Hill Magnet School. And to say that that went smooth is a complete understatement. Because that transition to Johns Hill my heart was opened, I think for the first time in education, to where I thought, this is home. I am where I'm supposed to be. Remember how I told you that I cried when I found out I was going to Johns Hill? Well, tears would be the last thing you'd have to worry about if somebody came to me and said, can I have a new transition for you and a new challenge? Because there would be claw marks into the gym floor and bricks that may come loose while they're pulling me out of this program. Because you see, Johns Hill is my dream job. And it has been an amazing experience for me over these last 18 years. Because you see, I have the best job in the world. I get to spend my day with the most amazing individuals that Decatur has to put forward. And I am so proud to call myself a teacher. I tried my best to keep Ida's words near and dear to my heart when I deal with my kids on a daily basis. And she was so right when she said, girl, you never know what baggage these children come to school with on a daily basis, or for when they may have last eaten. But what you do know is this: our classrooms will be filled with love for every child that you have in this class. I wish I had $1 for every time that someone said to me, you teach in Decatur? Or, have you ever thought about going somewhere else? And my answer has always been, for the last 32 years, absolutely not. I love teaching in Decatur. And every time I have an opportunity to put forth some positive news that comes out of Decatur, it's going to come out of my mouth on a daily basis for people to hear and to listen. Because we have a lot of great things that happen in our district. We have amazing, amazing staff members who I am honored to represent tonight, and the most wonderful student body that anyone could ever ask for. I've been blessed and I feel honored to have served this community over the last 32 years in the role of a public school teacher in Decatur, Illinois. And the relationships that I've developed over these last few years and throughout my career have made a deep impact on me, and I will forever cherish them. This job is far too difficult for us to do alone. So having your coworkers to rely on, the families of your students to support you, makes all the difference in the world. And I finally figured out, it took a while, but I'm where I'm supposed to be, doing what I was meant to do. And I am so proud to be a Decatur public school teacher. You know, I've witnessed many, many changes in the course of my 32 years. Because my first job, I had a room key, I had this is a novel idea for some of the newer teachers in here, a spiral-bound grade book with papers in it that you had to physically fill out. And a brand new box of number 2 Ticonderoga pencils. And I was told to have a great year, enjoy your time in the classroom, and if you need anything, come find me, because I'll be here for you. Where now, I have a MacBook, I have an iPad, I have Apple TVs, I have an online electric grade book, I have an online system for absence recording, and I have about 7 passwords that I have to remember in order to do my job. But in all those changes, one thing has remained constant, and that is my passion for teaching. I absolutely love being with my kids. I have one right here with me tonight. I have some of my former students here tonight. I have Holly and I have Emily, who flew in from North Carolina today just to share this evening with me. Complete surprise. I had no idea until I got here tonight. The kids are what makes me tick. And my kids have heard, when I have to go, I'm sorry, Dr. Frigo, but when I have to go to teacher meetings, I feel like I'm in teacher jail. Because I'm hired to be a teacher, and I want to be with my kids. That's what makes me tick. That's what makes my heart happy. That's how I wake up every morning with a smile on my face and never feel like I'm ever going to a job. Because my kids are that important to me. And it's not a job, it is my chosen profession. Thank you tonight, and thank you so much for this honor.
We are so pleased to recognize your dedication to students and to the district. And thank you to Holly for your nomination and for helping us to highlight an educator who is truly outstanding. As we wrap up dinner prepared by Chef Pear and his staff, please enjoy our slideshow featuring all 3 of tonight's honorees.
Go sit down. I love you. Go sit down. Okay, everybody. So this is a nice, lively crowd. I don't see my father. Dad, where are you? You missed last year. You gotta come back in. Come on, Danny Mahoney. Come sit down. Thank you. Get it together. Okay. So this is nice. There's a lot of good energy in the room, so I want to keep that energy. But in the interest of getting everybody home in time for bed, let's do it. We'll move it along here a little bit. So thank you, everybody, for the first half. That was great, Regan. Thank you very much for hosting the first half. Thanks, Natalie, for your kind words. That was great. And it's true, I've known her since she was at this home, probably. So she used to babysit our boys who are here. And you know the Ag Academy's working because we have 14-year-old twins, and they never want to go to anything I'm in charge of, but they're here tonight. Because they said, Mom, you going? We want to go. So that's great. So Josie, make sure they keep you hated. They're doing okay. Keep an eye on them. So All right, well, very good. I know probably 90% of the people in here. For the other 10%, I am Zach, so it is my great joy to direct the foundation. I disagree with Kim because I have the best job in the district, and it's all the people that I work with. And I love this night. It's a lot of work to put it together, but I really love it because of all the people and the friends that get to come together, and just there's no agenda, we just enjoy each other. So that's pretty great. And Miss Nair, I'm glad you came back. The proclamation worked. You proclaimed something?
Great.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. So every day is different at the foundation, but when we do it well, we know that a kid or a teacher or somebody in the community is going to benefit, and that's really why I enjoy doing my job. And one of the great things about it is all the human beings. So Peggy, she wasn't blowing smoke. You're our patron saint. Lucy Smith is our other patron saint who's back there. So would you please wave, both of you? So you were both just great, and thank you again to all of our sponsors. I know we didn't go through because we're really wanting to move forward and talk to our honorees. So thank you again for everybody. Core, we really appreciate you putting this on. And Peggy also, by the way, we put this whole thing on just so Natalie would come up from Arizona and see you. It was great of us, really. I mean, actually, it was really nice of us. So my job means seeing up close the difference it makes when an educator is truly committed to young people. Many of you in the room are teachers, either current or retired teachers. Please know that the reason the foundation really is here is because you have the most important job on the planet. And I don't think that's overstating it. I think people would say I'm being overly dramatic or something. I don't think so. I mean, you need teachers every single day when you walk in. Doctors are great, Dr. Ensley, when you need them, but every day. Sorry, Janet, but it's true, right? So periodically, you want to see them as little as possible, right? So just things like this. So earlier on, we honored Kim Schaefer. We do the grants. We do every year about $500,000 in grants directly to teachers and schools and special programs. And Kim is at Johns Hill. We do a lot of grants there. One of the neat things about Johns Hill is that they're an arts integration school. And so that means that they try and incorporate the arts into everything. Yeah, my mother's clapping. She's a music PhD. So they integrate the arts into everything that they do. And it's really neat to go in and see it in action. And so every time we do a grant, though, we ask people to do a report in the spring so we know, what they did with the dollars. And so Johns Hill's great about reporting. So Rob, you're doing a great job running the ship. But they also know I have kind of a flair for the dramatic and that I appreciate these things. So I want to show just a little thing that came in with their grant report last year for a conference that we did. It was a professional development deal. Christelle, do you have that video? It's great. You what? Let's go back. You're still a good person. Christelle's great. If things work, it's because she did it, and probably I did this. That's right. It's a really good video. It's worth it.
Me and my 6 teammates travel across the country.
We'll watch free instead. She's the national FFA
I go
president.
to over
She's great.
39 different states and visit with different students, doing leadership workshops and speaking with students about FFA and agriculture. And so it's been an absolutely incredible experience getting to go from state to state, 3 states a week, just talking with different people. But all in all, my passion in life and what I want to do as a national officer is that I continue to motivate and promote FFA and agriculture and hopefully be a part of changing students' lives.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer that I had to miss the first 3 days of school, but I did for a good reason. I'm in the Illinois National Guard, and actually I just finished up training at Fort Lee. I was training to be a 92 Alpha, which is an automated logistical specialist, and I graduated on Thursday of last week. So I traveled home on Thursday, flew into Chicago in the evening, and then moved down here to Central Illinois on Friday, and then here we are on Monday was the first day of school. So kids are excited, I'm excited. I'm just happy to be here now serving in this role rather than back at AIT.
I'm excited. It's kind of like the Lion King effect. Like, you start the story in the same way as you end it, but you get to continue to see the story progress and build. It's a whole new program, and getting to see the program start, like kind of having a brainchild about it at 8 a.m. and then getting to see it come into fruition now with new students who have no idea what FFA is, kind of reminds me of how fortunate I am, but also how much more work we have to do.
Oh, I'm so very impressed. She's so polished and so professional. But she's also very authentic, and I think she's the perfect person to be in this classroom, in this community, delivering the message of agricultural education and FFA. They may not understand totally how cool it is that she is here today, but later on, when I take some of these kids to National FFA Convention and they see her up on stage giving speeches and making shout-outs to people, I think that they'll understand that this day was really, really special.
I remember being that student in the back of the class and not knowing anything about FFA, and being an urban kid, I didn't think it related to me whatsoever. But just taking that one opportunity to step out of my comfort zone and try something new is what these students are now being challenged to face. And once they do take that one opportunity, I can only imagine the wealth of so many experiences that I've gotten to have that they get to have too now. And so all in all, like, I'm excited for what these students are going to be pursuing, because they seem pretty excited and ready to go with the experiences ahead of them.
There you go. Is this ever happened to you as the mayor? Right? It does. It goes great. Yeah, it's perfect. So there's never a bad time to see Bree Holbert, though. So that's the National FFA president, and so we appreciate Jess and everybody. Jess Smithers is our new ag director at Richland Community College. Helped us design the Ag Academy. Helped us get Bree here. So this kid's phenomenal. So we just wrapped up another charming election cycle. Everybody enjoyed that? It was fun. So whoever you voted for, I don't care. I'm voting for her. Like, I don't care what she's running for. She's my gal. So she came and spent 2 full days here. This is an African-American student from the middle of LA and never been within 100 miles of a farm, who was homeless in 8th grade and told all her kids about it. And her mother had health problems, single child, first day of high school. She was sitting on the grass saying, I need a hug from my mom. Mom didn't show up. This kind of stuff. So 4 years later, she said, I couldn't order a sandwich, and now I'm traveling around. This is her 67th stop, and I think her 39th state that she'd been in when she was here. She spent 2 full days, saw every one of our 200 kids in the Ag Academy, and I think it was a really meaningful experience. For me, it was really neat to see our kids sort of understand what we were talking about. You can talk to your blue in the face about what a great idea it is and how many jobs are in ag, but until you show them or until they see someone with whom they can identify, they don't get it. So it was really wonderful, an amazing opportunity. I think Ashley said that just doesn't happen. You don't get her for 2 days, and she came, and it was actually 3 days, really, totally, that she was here. So thank you for showing that video. What I would like to do, though, is go back and show you how creative the Johns Hill teachers are, and really it's just indicative of the teachers in the district. They know I'm a sucker for the dramatics, so they sent this, Rob, with the report last year, and they got it. This is why I like going to work. So, because creative people make the world go round, don't they? Accountants do, I guess, but they're more fun. And so I get to hang out with them every day. And creativity and energy in any profession is really what it's about. We're about to meet 2 pretty creative doctors, and so we'll let them talk to you about how that works. But really, the energy is the vital element. And there is a lot of energy in the district right now. Regan hit on it. A lot of the really wonderful things going on. It is a time where we're reimagining what the buildings look like, how we're going to strategically place ourselves for the next 10 years. And I've heard more about demographers than I think I probably would ever care to hear again. But it gives us a really good look at what we're going to be facing here in the next decade. It helps us to really plan in a strategic way so that we can provide educational experiences that are meaningful for our kids. So with all of that said, at this time, I would like to talk about a leader who's much like our educational leaders that we see in the classroom, but to do that, rather than have me talk about it, I think I would like to have Brenda Clark come to join me at the podium and introduce our first outstanding alum.
Thank you, Zach, and thank you for everyone who is here, to everyone who is here. Congratulations to Kim, a fellow physical educator. She is very deserving of this honor, genuinely cares about all of her students. I've known Kim for a long time. I'm here to introduce one of my former students, Dr. Janet Albers. She played basketball for me. And I was so impressed with the fact that one of my basketball players became a doctor. I thought we had to give her this honor of outstanding alumni. Now, this was back in 1974 and 75, and you can figure that out. It's probably 43 years ago or so. That was the first year Decatur Public Schools had girls' sports. And so we were kind of on the cutting edge, kind of a pioneer type of a program. But Janet was a freshman that year, tall freshman. Basketball coaches love tall people. And so she played on the junior varsity. I was a coach. Her sophomore year, she was voted most valuable player. Then the next 2 years, I started on varsity. I was a coach. And we just had a good time. It was just fun. It was new. It was just exciting. And so, some of you...
Don't you hold the ball?
Oh, no, I should have had you hold the ball. I forgot. Anyway, some of you have noticed I was carrying this basketball around all evening, and as I walked into the building, somebody wanted me to play catch. This ball was given to me by my very first varsity team, and they had all signed it. Now, I kept it over the years, no air in it, so my grandkids won't play with it. And now, when I run into my former players, I have them sign it. So Janet signed it earlier this evening. We had to borrow a marker. Thank you, whoever loaned me the marker. I brought one, I couldn't find it. That's about par for the course. Anyway. Janet, she was just a really good student and a really good basketball player, and she loved it. So we just, after high school, she went off to Illinois Wesleyan as a biology and a German major. And she had a goal of being a doctor. And she went to the SIU School of Medicine. She became a doctor. And our paths crossed rarely over the years, but every once in a while we'd keep in touch. Some of the stories I remember was everybody getting to med school, you have to take the MCAT test. And so she asked her professor, well, what can I study, or how do I prepare for it? Oh, you can't study, just take the test, see how you do. Well, that didn't set well with Janet. So she studied anyway, and she said last night she didn't pass it the first time, but then she knew what to study. And the next time she passed, and she got into med school, and she's just, she's been a good doctor for all these years. When I had the idea of nominating her for this, which was several years ago, she didn't have time to come to this recognition dinner. Her own children were either in a sports program, or she had a meeting, or she was working weekends. So last night she said, I don't work weekends anymore, I'm going to be here. So we're just glad to honor her. She is an outstanding person and an outstanding alumni of Decatur Public Schools from Lakeview High School. Dr. Janet Albers.
Mike and Mike, come over here. There you go.
Give me the ball.
I'm much more comfortable when I'm on with the patient or with the student than I am in front at a podium, so bear with me, please. Thank you so much for this honor, and I'm truly, truly humbled, and it's so wonderful to see Mrs. Clark again after all these years. When I heard about the award, it brought back all kinds of memories from my years at Decatur Public Schools. From kindergarten at El Dorado School, and you're saying, which school? What is that? For those of you who are as old as I am, may remember El Dorado School was on the east side of Decatur, out on 44th Street, no longer there. It merged with a school called Excelsior South and became what's now Baum Elementary. And then it went on to what was a pretty new Thomas Jefferson Middle School at the time. That was kind of interesting because for the first time we changed classrooms, right? We went from one classroom to the next, had different teachers. We had art, we had music, we had home economics, which I understand this evening we don't have anymore in the schools. I didn't realize that. And we had this thing called typing. Remember that? That was before word processing and keyboarding and computers and laptops and phones, smartphones, all those kind of things. I remember my 4 wonderful years at Lakeview High School, which has since closed in 1982. I was a Lakeview Spartan. To put it in some perspective for the students who are here, I graduated from high school 40 years ago this year, so it's been just a little bit of time. And what do I remember? Well, I remember tremendously dedicated, creative, and passionate teachers within the Decatur Public School System. I can't even begin to name them all. It would take me too long, but I could name them because I remember them very, very clearly. I remember academic opportunities for reinforcement and mastering of the basics in grade school to phenomenal opportunities in junior high and high school, not only English and social studies, but also opportunities in calculus and chemistry and physics, things that prepared for pre-med. I also remember the joy of music and of art, of drama, and of athletics, all that were very important in developing the whole person. And when it came time for me to enter high school, though, in 1974, and this will take back your memory too for some of you, in July of that year, I remember waking up to a tremendously loud thundering explosion about 4 in the morning one day. Do you remember that? People are shaking their heads. That was in July. There was a devastating propane explosion in the railway yard. Our house was several miles away, and it broke 15 windows out of our house and pushed in one of the metal doors. And sadly, 8 railway workers lost their lives in that explosion, and it nearly destroyed Lakeview High School. And so that year that I was to start, we shared the old Stephen Decatur High School downtown. Do you remember that? And we got to go in the afternoon. We went from 12:30 to 5, and the Stephen Decatur students went in the morning from 8 till 12:30. And that went on that first year until Lakeview was renovated and then got to go there the next year. Certainly it was an unexpected event for Decatur Public Schools, but you know, through resilience, they found a creative way to adapt, and I really have very fond memories of that year. I also remember a young woman's basketball coach treading new territory at the time. It was the first time, as Brenda said, that there were interscholastic sports for women in the state of Illinois, actually due to Title IX. And I was so tall, as she said, that I was approached to come to tryouts, but little did they know I'd never held a basketball. It didn't matter. She just said, put your arms up and So you'll love this. We got to wear the boys' old jerseys over T-shirts with cut-off blue jeans. My son hates this story because he gets to hear it all the time. And we wore old white Converse tennis shoes at the time for that first season. And as you saw in some of the pictures, we actually got uniforms that next year because somebody vied for us and pushed hard for us and for women's athletics. But we hung in there, and I tell you, we learned so much about teamwork and hard work and discipline from Brenda Clark, and I appreciate that. Lastly, I remember a school nurse at the time, Gloria Cheatham. I don't know if any of you know her. There was an extracurricular club on health careers that I joined. And it actually solidified my interest to go into pre-med. And the school counselor at the time, Barbara Buckles, also helped me to take that step to commit to pre-med, even though I was really worried about the cost and the number of years of training. So every summer, I worked at A.E. Staley. Is anybody from Tate and Lyle here? Yeah, that was A.E. Staley. And I threw around 100-pound bags of starch and ran a forklift with my hard hat, my overalls, and my steel-toed shoes for 2 years, and then worked in the lab to make money for college the next 2 years. My kids are laughing over here. So I enjoyed then attending Illinois Wesleyan and SIU School of Medicine and did my residency training at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. And I'm really thankful for that decision to go into medicine. It really has brought me so much joy and a sense of purpose. I love being a family physician and developing that relationship, similar to the relationship Kim was talking about with students, that relationship with patients and with families over time. I've loved delivering babies for many years, almost 1,000 of them, and caring for patients throughout the entire lifespan, in the clinic, in the hospital, home visits even. And then I got to add to that teaching along the way at SIU, teaching medical students and residents and helping to develop the interprofessional healthcare workforce for the future. So it was a dream job. And it was a privilege to be able to come back to the Midwest, to SIU School of Medicine as a faculty about 20 years ago, 21. And at SIU Family Medicine, where I've been, we became a federally qualified health center in 2012. So that enabled us to provide a lot more services for our patients to improve health and the health of the community and to address social determinants of health beyond the traditional medical model. And we're now in 10 sites with locations all across central and southern Illinois. And as department chair, I've gotten to work with programs, residency programs in Decatur now, and in Carbondale, Quincy, and Springfield. And it's been wonderful, especially coming back to Decatur. Being able to work with my colleagues. A couple of them are here tonight. I want to introduce them. Minette Gilson, who's the Administrative Director of SIU Center for Family Medicine, and also Mark Scott, who's the Medical Director, and I'm glad they could be here tonight. I'm really proud to say that they worked with the school district as well in the Jump Start program this year to keep kids in school and get their medical exams and immunizations prior to school. So for you students, and I know you're here, raise your hands. This is a shameless plug. I'm really bad. I was recruiting from high school on up and even earlier. I hope you'll consider a career in medicine and healthcare. We need you. And we're going to need you even more as we face looming shortages in the upcoming years. We need physicians, but also nurses, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, social workers, pharmacists, dietitians, care coordinators, and community health workers, all as part of a team to improve health. It's a challenging journey, but it's really, really worth it. So whatever you decide to do, though, I encourage you to be brave and to follow your heart, to give it your all, and to go out to make a difference. In closing, I just want to say thank you. I am grateful for my foundation in Decatur Public Schools and for the many teachers that touched my life. Without their support and their encouragement, without them believing in me along the way, my journey might have been very different. The legacy of teaching has been the many lives that they have influenced over the years, just as Kim Schaefer, who we are honoring tonight, has influenced so very many lives. I can tell just by hearing your talk. Thank you for the DPS Foundation as well. I'm truly wowed by all of the work you're doing, Zach. It's amazing. And lastly, I'm thankful to my parents, my mom, who is here tonight, Betty Best, and my dad, who would have been so proud. I'm also thankful to my husband, Tom, who's here, my children, Chrissy, TJ, and Zach, and my soon-to-be daughter-in-law, Anna, for their love and support always. Thank you again.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. And I do hope you take a moment and read through the bios. I know we talk a little bit about our interpersonal experiences when we're up here, but really the professional accomplishments for our three alumni, or our two alumni and our educator, are really impressive. So I hope you do take a few minutes to go through and look. So, and as indicated in his program biography, our next honoree is a gentleman who has broken the unofficial, hey, you should really honor him, unofficial poll in the community. We'll go back and do that in a second. Hang on. So we do have two slideshows that are really great. We're going to go back and do Dr. J's here in a minute. No, we do. We're going to do it. It's going to be at the end. It's going to be great. So we'll show your slideshow in a second. So you spend about 4 minutes with Dr. Ensley. You understand why people feel so strongly attached to him. So Denny Mahoney, thank you very much for the nomination this year. And, you know, what Dr. Ensley has accomplished over his career is very remarkable, and I'm not going to get into too much of the technical stuff because, frankly, it's way over my head. But caring for others takes many shapes and forms, and I think we talk about education. I think in addition to practicing medicine, both of our honorees tonight are also teachers in your own way. And so many people love Lee Ensley because he's the father figure, he's the favorite uncle, he's the funny guy who makes you forget your troubles. while you're in to share a laugh and you forget that you're really at the doctor. This is especially important for a urologist. Anybody in such a sensitive line of work better be able to get you to smile. So, and Lee is definitely a funny guy. So Christelle, before we do the video, can you pull up that first slide? The one that we have with the license plate? Yeah. So, true or false? Is that your license plate of your vehicle? Okay. So next slide, please. And this is Pam's license plate? Okay. All right. Okay, my 14-year-old's got the joke. That's good. I didn't know if you'd see it. Thanks, Andrew. You're an educator. So you see what I'm saying. So I hope Lee talks a little bit about his career because he can get you into that a little bit. It's been remarkable. He's helped a tremendous number of people get through really tough stretches. So, and I do want you to know, Jerry, that I put Clarence Leak Stopper on the chart, but it didn't fit on the big board when they put it in. So sorry, I tried it for you. As an example of Dr. Inslee's influence in the medical community, he brought the innovative microwave treatment procedure to Decatur, impacting patients with targeted interventions for a number of serious ailments. Targus therapy proved to be a tremendous blessing on the medical end of things, but more importantly, it's the relationships he builds that make Dr. Inslee's legacy most meaningful. So that's the message tonight, is that relationships matter. The ones that we create are what define us. And we're at St. Mary's a week or two ago to take some pictures. The first 3 people that we saw just lit up, they stopped, and they threw their arms around Dr. Inslee. The one guy did, but he smiled a lot. So he still calls them kids. They still call him boss when we walk through, and you're on the board there, but no longer active as far as practicing. But they just jumped at the chance to get into a picture with you and to tell a story about you, and they're pretty funny, and I'm not going to repeat the one that the one guy said, but maybe you'll tell it. So, but at the heart of things, Lee, like Ken, like Janet, just a great educator. He comes by it honestly. So Norman is your favorite uncle. He's here with us tonight, and we're pleased to have Connie make it up also. That was quite a drive to get here. And I understand that Norman has a PhD in education from Illinois State and served as superintendent in Bartonville. So you understand exactly what we're talking about here with these 3 individuals. So it was neat to hear you talk about Norman when we spoke the other day and you told me he was coming, Lee. It was the same feeling I got when I heard Kim came up to me and said, hey, so I had a visitor at my office today, and it was Henry, your grandson Henry, and he came in and said, hey, Shay, guess what? My grandpa's going to be honored at the same event that you are. Isn't that great? And she said, that is great. He said, I don't think it's for kids, though. And Henry, this event is absolutely about kids. It's all about kids, and so I'm very glad that you're here today. I was at a similar thing for my grandpa 20 years ago, and it was a really meaningful thing. So I'm glad that you can be here. It's very clear how much you care about him. So he's also a pretty tough cat. He had back surgery a week ago Wednesday? 10 days ago. Okay, so I exaggerated. But you acquitted yourself pretty well at that cocktail party last night. I was impressed. So everybody, please join me in welcoming Dr. Lee Inslee to the stage.
Before I get too carried away, I'd like to remind everybody that copies of my book will be available. What a wonderful weekend. Thanks to Zach and Regan. They made it so easy When we started out, I wondered a little bit about Zach. Actually, a lot about Zach. We had this photo shoot he was talking about in the lobby at St. Mary's. And the volunteers were there. I know all of them and they know me. And anyway, he walked over to make sure they knew me. And he tried to give me a little line about I had a face made for radio. And I thought, well, what kind of guy is this? So earlier this week when we were talking about the event tonight, he's talking about the order that people will be speaking in. And he says, well, you're going to be third. Is that okay? And I said, well, sure. I mean, ladies go first. And I can bet clean up. I'm kind of used to leading off. But, I mean, you want the keynote speaker at the end, right? He said, no, that's not really the reason. He says, we want to make you first, but we didn't want to lose the audience. They've done a wonderful job, and frankly, I'm more proud of the school district than I am of myself. I've had a nice career, been very lucky. I graduated from Stephen Decatur, of course. The short bio is I was always interested in medicine. I ended up getting a baseball scholarship at Iowa, and I stayed there 14 of the next 15 years. I was gone from Decatur. I did my undergraduate there. I got a master's degree in anatomy, thinking I was going to teach in medical school. And then I finished got my MD degree also. Went to Maricopa County General Hospital in Phoenix for an internship and returned to Iowa for a 5-year residency. At that time, Janet, they had done away with regular residencies, so you couldn't have an internship that wasn't associated with a residency. So I got 5 years instead of 4. Nice. Anyway, then we decided to come back home because family was so important to us. And it was certainly the right decision. So, a lot of things along the way. You know, also, you had in your, I did the first ureteroscopy, right? Cystos. I said ureteroscopy. It's hard to educate this guy. Yeah. So, I want to thank everybody who's involved in this program. It's really been something great. And Denny, for nominating me, I think that was really something we've been friends a long, long time. Thank you. DPS has always had a rich educational heritage, and I feel fortunate to have benefited from that. My parents, sister, and I moved to Decatur in 1954. I went to 4th grade at Washington Elementary School, Johns Hill Middle School, and then to Stephen Decatur High School. My wife, Pam, went to MacArthur High School, and our 3 children went to Eisenhower High School. All received a wonderful education. And as I thought of this, reminiscing again, you know, I went to Washington, they tore that down. I went to Stephen Decatur, I came back and found they'd torn that down. So now, Henry's going, my grandson's going to Johns Hill. If I went to Johns Hill, I think they forgot I went there, but they're going to tear that one down. So Jen was talking about possibly things building and all that. There's 2 things. Now, my sister, Ann, was at Stephen Decatur also, so Val Victoria and College, went to Illinois State University, and then to Harvard for MBA, before Harvard was officially a co-ed school. She then got a PhD in statistics at the University of Missouri. She got 1 B in her life in a 2-hour swimming elective course. And claimed she had a cold during the final. Yes, she was the scholar and I was the jock. I always kidded her that a statistician was a person who had 1 foot in a bucket of scalding water and the other foot in a bucket of ice water. And when he asked her how she felt, she replied that she was relatively comfortable. Vital to my education were great parents and great teachers. I was the first in my family to not be a teacher. My parents believed in education first, but appreciated the value of athletics as an adjunct. I knew if I got C's, I wouldn't be able to participate in sports. Athletic participation was the reward for excelling in the classroom. I was blessed with good teachers who not only taught, but inspired along the way. Teachers are often given little credit and all the blame. Social problems often take precedent over educational efforts. Those problems, combined with little or no parental involvement and an unmotivated student, lead to poor academic results. It seems to me one of the challenges for DPS in the last several years has been to provide a quality education while adapting to a changing environment. A great example of that ongoing effort is the recent creation and implementation of the Duane O. Andrews Agriculture Academy, which has been talked about previously tonight. What a fabulous addition to the curriculum with a broad appeal exposing many students to many different career options. It is uplifting for me to see so many student athletes going to college. Recent great examples include the Brummett twins from MacArthur, which would be Amir on a football scholarship to Northern Illinois University, and his twin Armin going to play basketball for Adler. And the Martin twins from Eisenhower High School, Tina and Katina, who are going on a track scholarship to Harvard. They have worked hard in the classroom and on the athletic field and have great futures ahead of them. I want to share two memories that are examples of what I believe as far as the importance of the marriage between athletics and academics. In 1962, I was lucky enough to play on the Decatur High Illinois State Basketball Championship team. At that time, if anyone remembers, that was the last Illinois High School championship that was played in Old Tough Gym. In 1963, the Assembly Hall was opened at the U of I. There was also a one-class system, so that the winner took all, no divisions. Now on that team, our front line was 6'3", 6'1", 6 foot. Everybody else was a shrimp like me. We played against the Chicago Carver team that went about 5'11", 6'1", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". The 6'6" player at that time was Cassie Russell, who went on to the University of Michigan as an All-American and then a great professional basketball career. The 6'7" player was Joe Allen, who was an All-American at Bradley. We had no business beating that team. Well, we did. The second part of this story involves Milliken and Richland. When I retired, I went to teach at Milliken and Richland in the nursing programs because I think nursing is that important, and also the nurses were so kind to me throughout my whole career. I wanted to give back and I wanted to teach. So I gave the same class at Richland and at Milliken, and it was really amazing. At Richland, you have to understand, a lot of the students there are married, they have children, some have another job, they still have to go home and take care of the kids, get them ready for school, put them to bed, and then study. On the Milliken side, you have students who are in their third and fourth year of nursing school. They were going to be out and moving to working in the hospital the following year. Also a difference is a lot of times their backgrounds. So that one of the students at Richland, after I had introduced the class and myself and how we were going to run it, it's going to be a 100-question multiple choice final, etc. I had one question. The young lady raised her hand and said, well, I was just wanting to know what I should call you, doctor? And I thought for a minute, I said,